Alright folks, this is the May 2015 Nerd Block versus Loot Crate head-to-head unboxing. So if you'll recall, last month Loot Crate won. They just came out of nowhere with all of the cool things from the inflatable crown to the bow tie to everything else and absolutely won. So I sat down. I know I've been doing, the first 2 months I did this, I didn't do the head-to-head. As each box came in, I unboxed it, and then started to do the head-to-heads back in November. And just out of curiosity, I took a little toll. So right now, I started the service, both services in September. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8 months, and it is like a dead tie between the two. Nerd Block impressed me for September, October, November, and then Loot Crate came along in December. And they also won for January and February. Nerd Block came back in March, and last month Loot Crate ended up taking my affections, if you will. So right now we're 4-4. So let's make this the tiebreaker. I haven't decided if I'm going to suspend both services, just because I have some life changes coming up that are going to force me to conserve money. But let's say this is a hypothetical tiebreaker. There can only be one. Right now the brackets are even. So I will do this always. The winner will go first. So the runner-up has an opportunity to just hit me. So I have my knife, and for what might be one final time, I will open it up. Now, I do know the theme for Loot Crate is unity. I've seen a lot of Avengers stuff in the promotion, so kind of curious to see what we have here. And with that, we'll open it up, and it looks like we have the generic-ish box. Nothing really special to it. And let's grab the first thing I see. The first thing I see is a green cube. Oh. Rick and Morty puzzle. 300 pieces. Wow. People do still puzzles. Okay. It's Adult Swim. It's Rick and Morty. Okay. Stoners do puzzles. Who knew? I've never seen the show. I kind of outgrew Adult Swim a while back, but okay. Let's see. These are a pair of Marvel shoelaces. I actually have several pairs of Chuck Taylors that I could put these in. I see the next thing standing here. This is oh goodness. Oh, Loot Crate. So I need to pull these out to give them full justice, but they are Marvel ice cube trays. And you see, and it's funny because one of my partners and I were talking about the fact that we actually needed some ice cube trays around here, and lo and behold, I think they've delivered. So it looks like we have the Thing and the obligatory fist, and we have Iron Man and Captain America's shield. They are, what is the material of this? I should know it. It's that shishi white person stuff that they sell for really uber expensive stuff. It's not like the cheap plastic, but rather it's kind of flexible. So I'm sure somebody's going to correct me in the video, and probably somebody else is going to be offended because I said white person. Alright, next up, Team Fortress 2 pins. I could possibly see myself maybe putting those on a messenger bag. We have an Avengers Age of Ultron car decal. Maybe, possibly. Saving the t-shirt for last. Okay, so the theme is Unite. It looks like we have Batman and Superman shaking hands. Jesus Christ, Loot Crate, you totally missed it, man. It should have been a Marvel character and a DC character, not the two DC bros, but All right. We have our standard magazine. We'll look at that in just a moment because we have some books inside. It looks like we have a special Loot Crate edition of Bravest Warriors. I am sure my comic guy is going to be interested in that. And we have a... Wow. The subtext here. I don't know if we can. It's Alfred E. Newman as Aquaman from the live-action DC films, and the caption reads, "Unite the Stupid." I feel like the universe is just throwing out the ultimate piece of troll bait in front of me right now. I have never hidden the fact that I am not a fan of the New 52. I have never hidden the fact that I think DC is completely taking their creative universe in a completely terrible direction. It seems like Marvel's got it down for movies. DC's got it down for TV. And I think I've even said this in one of the videos in the past. If DC could get some of the Marvel movie guys to come over and work with them on movie projects, and if Marvel could get some of the DC TV guys to come over and work with them, this would be just like a golden age renaissance for nerd multimedia entertainment. But as it stands, DC's movies, I'm sorry, they just suck. I saw the Superman Batman trailer, and the only thing that was even more underwhelming was leave it to Jem to come along and just completely... I'm watching the Batman Superman trailer, and it's just like, oh my god, seriously? I haven't seen a DC... Okay, this is bad. The last DC movie that I saw in theaters was the '97 Batman film, the one that Joel Schumacher did, the Batsuit nipples and Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. I blocked it out. I can't even remember the full name. I think it was Batman and Robin. Yeah. Anyway, DC has not made a movie that makes me want to go into a theater to see it since 1997. And that movie in '97 was so god-awful traumatic. I keep waiting. And they're just not doing it. I know you're saying, but wait. The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger. I'm going to have a moment of nerd controversy. Even though those of us on the other side of the computer back in 2008 when Ledger died? When Ledger died, we were all sitting around, this is tragedy, this is a terrible tragedy. I always thought that the producer said, oh my god, we finally have a hit. If that man did not die, The Dark Knight would not be nearly as overrated as it is. I'm sorry, I saw it. It's kind of like eating a big bowl of macaroni and cheese and trying to pass it the next morning. That awkward, painful 5 minutes. That was The Dark Knight for me. It did nothing for me. I sat down. I tried to watch it with an open mind. Everybody gushed about it, and I just could not get through it. So... yeah, God, getting off my tangent here. Seriously, Loot Crate, if you really wanted to do the whole Unity theme, man, this could be like Spider-Man shaking Batman's hand, Wolverine shaking Superman's hand. So, anyway, I've ranted enough. Let's take a look at the t-shirt. I'm seeing, oh my god, this is what I think it is. I'm seeing Asian characters, and it looks like the little Power Rangers lightning bolt, and holy... let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, Loot Crate saved by the t-shirts. I was one of those people. Power Rangers was a little age inappropriate for me when it came out. It came out my senior year in college, 93 to 94, and I was one of those people. I was just like quietly in my dorm room watching the volume low, hoping that nobody walked by my door would hear me watching it, but I was into it. I actually grew up on some of the old tokusatsu shows that were brought over in the 1970s. Ultraman, Johnny Sacco, of course, my old TV station in Detroit, WKBD, they would always show the Godzilla movies every Saturday afternoon. So I was kind of digging it, even though it was totally kidified. It was cheesy in every way, shape, and form. I was kind of digging Power Rangers when they came out, and even though they were totally Americanified. So the shirt is cool. So Loot Crate, a little tepid. It seemed like a lot of the stuff in Loot Crate was just it was commercial stuff that I could buy anywhere. The unique and special value for Loot Crate this month just wasn't there. I'm not saying that everything in these boxes should be custom, but a little more unique swag, man. For what I'm paying, I could probably have bought half of those things from a store somewhere. So let's, as I've been opening and cutting, take a look at the nerd block, and we will open this up. So it looks like I don't know what it is with nerd block, man. Nerd block and the damn Funko figures. So we have the Perfect Cell Funko, Dragon Ball Z, very popular. One of those shows I tried getting into. Like, I really tried. I can honestly say, with no anime snob hipster cred, I was one of the first in the United States. I am glad that the Cosmos intervened. Once upon a time, I was on a collision course to becoming a weeaboo, to the point where when I was in college, I took Japanese. And this is back, you have to understand, this is 1990, and, culturally speaking, everybody said, the Japanese technology, they're going to own us. If you want to succeed in business, if you want to succeed in the workplace, learn how to speak Japanese. So that was the real reason. But the fact that in the back of my mind, I'm like, I can watch unsubbed anime without having to go to BBSs to download scripts, or in most cases, just kind of watch and infer and watch and infer and watch and infer. This was back late 80s, early 90s. You had companies that were subbing anime crappily. I know everybody's going to point to Robotech and say, Robotech, no. If it wasn't for Robotech nerds, I'm sorry, guys, we would not have the anime culture that we had. Shows like Robotech, shows like Transor Z, shows like Voltron, cheesy and crappy as they were in terms of their translation value, that prepped the Gen Xers to go out and find the better stuff. The problem is, the late 80s, there were only a handful. I'm thinking like US Manga Corps was one, Masex Streamline, there may have been one more. There were only a handful of companies that were translating and subtitling anime, and a few that were doing dubs, and that was all that you had. Way back then, you had to know someone who knew someone who knew someone who had the tapes, and a lot of us back in the 80s, we had like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th generation VHS copies of stuff that someone from like the military in the early to mid 80s, they grabbed a couple episodes of Saint Seiya, they grabbed a couple episodes of Dirty Pair, and when they came back over to the States after performing their service, they had it, and a friend made a copy, and a friend made a copy. So, Dragon Ball Z. So when I was in my pre-weeaboo phase, I was taking Japanese. We had this little TAN class, Satomi. And I had this meek moment. For about a week, I wrestled. It's like, do I ask her? Don't I ask her? Do I ask her? So I finally said, listen, if you're going back to Japan between December and January, if you're going back home for the Christmas holiday, can I give you some shows? Can I give you some VHS tapes? And would you make some videos for me? And bless her heart, she did it for me. And one of the shows that I got, so this is like a time capsule of December 1990, January 1991 anime. Episodes of Fushigi no Umi no Nadia, Wataru 2, God, what else was on that? Dragon Ball Z was one of the shows that was on it. But there were just all of these like really cool shows. So there was an episode of the show called Dragon Ball Z, and at that point in time I knew about Dragon Ball. I didn't know that there was a sequel series that they were doing to it. And I was into it. I couldn't understand a goddamn word that anybody was saying. There was, I remember the episode, Krillin and Goku, they thought that they found the Dragon Balls. Vegeta was having a pissy day. He invaded a spaceship. He was looking for a new uniform. Everybody on the spaceship, which was crass, they were running in fear from him. I think this was when Goku had been possessed. Sorry, it was Krillin and Gohan. Goku had been possessed, or his spirit had been transferred. So I have been trying to find that episode just so 25 years later I can actually go back at it and look at it and see if my reading and gleaning was even remotely correct. Then it got brought over to the US, and it actually got dubbed and translated terribly. I remember in November of '96, I saw it was running in weekend syndication. I saw one of the episodes, and it was just like one of those moments you're watching the television in disgust, and you want to turn it off in disgust, but you also want to keep watching because you just want to see how badly it's done. And of course, they also brought Dragon Ball over. I think they did a 13-episode weekend syndicated kind of compressed version of it. So I couldn't watch the American Dragon Ball Z stuff, and I always feel so bad for the generation that was raised on that god awful translation. So the Cell Saga, boo, all of that. It's I get that there's a fan base for it, but I am not the audience. So again, ranty nerd moment over. Let's get back into the unboxing. So I see the T-shirt, and I think I see what the T-shirt is. But let's hold off for just a second. Oh my god. Okay, so I need to take this out of the package. It is, I've read the back of the package already. It is called a convertible bandana. It is Project Bebop. And, as I say this, Animazement, the big Raleigh Anime Con is going on right now. And oh my god, what the hell is it? It's almost like a giant sock. No, it is not a convertible bandana. I hope we get instructions for this. Anyway, Animazement is going on right now. And this is multi-functional headwear. So, let's see. Turn inside out, grab ends, pull through, pirate. Turn inside out, twist, pull down, beanie. Okay. I will humiliate myself. We'll try this. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with this thing. If they just took a damn piece of fabric and they printed this on it, a little 12 by 12, 14 by 14 piece of fabric, and they printed it, this would be fucking badass. But no, someone had to be creative, didn't they? Someone had to mess this up. And if you've noticed, I've actually recently cut my hair, or more appropriately, I got butchered. There's a reason I had the hat on. I don't know what the hell this is. I feel like I've grown my ponytail back out. Well, here I was complaining about getting custom swag, so I will take it for what it is, and we'll move on. We have, of course, it says "Made in the USA" on back. Sorry, weeaboos, but they are my neighbor Totoro pins that are deceptively designed to look like they are from Japan. Regretfully, no. We have another book. What is with now? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what's with the books lately, Nerd Block? So it's manga. It's color, and yes, I am reading it the right way. A couple things here. Oh no, it's not color. Just the first page was in color. Oh, you fooled me. So color. Evangelion. Where do I start? I heard about it. This was one of those shows that maybe the hype ruined it by the time I got around to seeing it. I had heard about it. I had friends who were gushing about it, and finally, when I got the first DVDs, about 4 episodes in, I'm looking up a series synopsis to see how many goddamn more episodes to go before it's done. Long, slow, boring, monotonous. That show can be summed up with one phrase: shut the fuck up, Shinji, and pilot the Eva. Shut up and get in the plug. I have never seen more teen angst, and I was a high school teacher for 2 years. I've seen teen angst up close and personal. Just shut up and fly, Shinji. Enough of this metaphysical existential angst. And my God, talk about your ultimate sad, tragic college literature art fag endings. Ugh. No. I tried. I desperately tried. I came in with a very open mind. And Evangelion, and apparently this is the series that has been butchered so many times. The creator has been so indecisive. The only thing that's been rebooted more than Evangelion is the DC universe. I mean, that's how convoluted and bad this story is. But I'll give it a read. I need something to do at my desk in between phone calls. So our next item feels vinylish. It feels... Oh, God! Oh, boy. Okay, so this apparently is the anime theme box. This is... I've seen this before, so I've given up on anime. I am the grumpy old nerd who's basically clutching to his relics from the 70s and the 80s, but I kind of occasionally keep an ear to the ground. So it looks like this is a string backpack or a clutch, but so I know the insignia is the military unit from Attack on Titan, and I have to say I've seen bits and pieces of it. I have not gone out to procure a copy of it, but I just have to say, man, as I think about Attack on Titan, I have to wonder how many people are going to discover vorfile pornography after this kind of goes big over in the U.S. I know there's a big movie coming out. I know they're trying to push it here in the U.S. I know it's running on Adult Swim. I just have to wonder how many people are going to start getting into vor porn when Attack on Titan becomes a little bigger, because that was everything that I've seen, man. When one of the Titans grabs someone, and it's almost like I really, these are the things that go through my mind. So I've seen the clips, and the Titan will grab someone from the town, and they'll just precariously dangle it right in front of their mouth, and the mouth will open. I really have to wonder if there isn't somebody with a vorfile fetish directing the content on that, man. Because I can just, as soon as I saw my first clip, I'm like, there are people who masturbate to this show, and it's not because the characters are hot. It's because people get eaten. So, yeah. Sadly, the problem with this is I folded it up. I'm not sure where or how I would use it. I am discovering as I continue to grow. One of the quote joys of morbid obesity is that even things like backpacks don't easily fit. Fat on the back, the tits are building out. I really don't think that I could put this on. I guess I can try, but I'm afraid it's going to come off looking like a bad harness on BDSM night. Of course, the other question now is, now that I have it on, of course, it's empty and it fits. If it actually had stuff inside it, it might not, but yeah, I might use it for something. Maybe I've got a buddy or two who's into anime. So I'm saving the shirt. The shirt is totally me. The shirt is totally something my age. Let's see here. So we have a competition. They want you to fill out my guilty nerd pleasure. I think in my case, I own it. My guilty nerd pleasure is basically railing about the damn kids today. I've been able to do it for about 20 years now, and my skills are almost to the point where they're finally honed. So So kind of looking through before we go. So yeah, we hit the tutorial buttons, the Evangelion manga, the Cowboy Bebop bandana. Okay, so they're calling this a cinch bag. I guess it's not one of those string backpacks. Attack on Titan cinch bag. Show the world your love for Attack on Titan and Vorophilia, and carry your favorite essential anime items around with this stylish bag. Why did I not get this a few days ago? I could have taken this down to Animazement, and I probably could have sold a majority of this. Alright, so finally we have the t-shirt, and the t-shirt, I have to say, it's not that the box was bad, Nerd Block. It's just that I don't think that I am the appropriate audience for this particular box. But the t-shirt is your one saving grace. Yes, it is the one, the only, the original. We were talking, not that wing shit that came out in the 90s, kids. This is the Gundam shirt. So it says, yep, it's the RX-78. So this was Amuro Ray. All the way back when, man. And again, Gundam was one of those shows back in the 80s. We all heard about it. If you had a connection, you were hooked up. I kind of wish that they had brought Gundam over, but seeing some of the stuff that they did with anime in the 80s and 90s, I'm kind of glad that they didn't. And of course, wouldn't you know, the series that they decided to break it with in the United States is Gundam Wing. I mean, I know that's great because that started the careers of 1,000 bad yaoi/fic writers, but seriously. And the punchline is, when Wing became a hit, Cartoon Network brought over the original Gundam, and of course it was like, oh my god, it looks so old, the animation is so primitive. No shit, you little dumb fuckers, it was 1979, the animation looked primitive everywhere back then. I would almost love to see them sit down and watch old episodes of Gatchaman, man. That stuff from like the early 70s, some of that early Tatsunoko stuff, absolutely amazing, but of course it was, primitive. Your children will be looking at some of your stuff and saying, oh my god, Dad, how could you watch that shit? Anyway, so I gotta say, our tiebreaker right now, Loot Crate is in the lead. Both were unimpressive. That's the problem, but there's more stuff that I could have fun with in the Loot Crate box, I think. Yeah, Loot Crate, I'm giving it to you. We'll see. So I don't know if this is going to be the last of the videos or not. I need to sit down and look at finances and figure out if I'm going to be able to swing these every month. So if I do, Nerd Block, you have an opportunity to even up the score. If not, Loot Crate takes the competition. Otherwise, I will do the obligatory shilling. I will put the link right down there, right under the contents of this box. And you can give me a referral, and I think I get something like $5 on a box. And I will make more of these crappy videos that 20, 30, 40 of you might watch and never comment on. So, maybe we'll see you next month. Maybe we won't. If not, it's been fun. Take care.